Hello everyone, thanks for joining in. Our work is titled How Well Does Undergraduate Education Prepare Software Engineers? A Perspective of Practitioners of Bangladesh. Now this work is in collaboration with a couple of people. Myself, Ishtiaque Hussain, I'm with Pennsylvania State University at Abington in Pennsylvania, USA. Also by Ahmed, Shamim, Hasan, Rafed, Mahmud, Yasir, and Ahmedul Kabir. They are from University of Dhaka in Bangladesh, and also Syed Ishtiaque Ahmed, who is from University of Toronto, Canada. Now, before we go into detail about our study and finding, let's begin with a little bit of history. And this history is about software engineering, education and training relevant studies. In 1998, Lethbridge was the first one to survey practitioners, meaning software engineers who are working in industry. And he surveyed mainly US and Canadian practitioners. Only 3% of his survey participants were outside of these two countries. And he found and reported that there is a gap in academia, formal training, and the industry need. And he found mainly what is missing in academia was discussion or teaching in testing, quality assurance, process management, etc. Then in 2000, Shaw, in her paper, laid down the roadmap for software engineering education and training, or SEET for short. And she also noted that there are different roles in industry and reported that it's ever changing and it's very fast paced. She also reported educators having challenges adapting to the fast changing industry need. Then in 2003, Brackner points out in his study that new graduates struggle a lot when they first join their industry. And he reported that Microsoft has to train almost all his new hires in depth for months before the new hires are trusted with writing any kind of code. Followed by some other studies between 2005 and 2008, Mahanti and Kriti also gave us some perspective of Indian subcontinent, and they reported that only a quarter of the graduates, 25% of the graduates, were actually ready for industry. They reported that there were a 20-to-1 ratio of applicant and actual hires. Also reported that there are millions of dollars spent in training these new hires. Siraran and others reported similarity in China and Russia. Then 2011, West was the first one to coin the term water scrum fall, and basically reported that there is a hybrid practice of development in industry, meaning waterfall model and agile scrum model, and emphasized in the paper that as an educators we need to focus carefully in training students in hybrid development model. In 2017, Kurman and others, they reported a 2-year-long study on hybrid tools. They surveyed more than 1,500 projects and products worldwide, and they showed a list of tools, methodologies, and techniques industries are using for this hybrid development model. Later on, they published another paper in 2019, and I was present in that conference, where they reported that they surveyed educators on hybrid tools and methods and technologies, and these educators were mainly from ICSI participants from 2017 and 2018, and also from their network, and they collected 67 data points and showed that educators themselves are doing a good job training students about these hybrid development technologies and methodologies. But one thing that caught my eye was Bangladesh was missing, and when I asked in the conference, they said they didn't have any contact in Bangladesh. So their project is called Helena, Hybrid Development Approaches, and I have provided the link there. They have done a comprehensive study. But since Bangladesh was missing, and I graduated from a Bangladeshi higher education institutions, as are all the authors in this paper, we were curious, like, really, did we learn all the hybrid development approaches and tools in our undergrad studies? So that's when we decided to go ahead and do a study for our personal bias, and also for a couple of reasons. Bangladesh software and IT industry is worth billions of dollars as of today. There are over 4,500 registered companies. There are 100 plus universities providing CS or related degrees, and several of them offer software engineering bachelor's degree. Each year, it is reported that 10,000 graduates graduate, and also there are estimated 5,000 demand from the recruiters every year. An Asian Development Bank in 2018 recognized Bangladesh as the fastest growing economy, and we thought Bangladesh would be a good representation of the global south. So instead of asking the educators if they are training their students on these hybrid development tools, we decided to do an ethnographic study of the practitioners. Like, they are the real stakeholders, right? So we wanted to know from them if they thought their undergrad education was good enough for them to survive, be effective in their work. So what we did is we started by inviting practitioners who graduated from Bangladesh, Bangladeshi higher educational institution, and mainly working in industry. So we ended up having 15 male and 5 female, in total 20 participants, who are from 11 different companies in Dhaka, and who had a diverse experience from less than 2 years to more than 10 plus years experience, and they were from a mix of public and private universities in Bangladesh. So what we did is that we sat down, we did a semi-structured interview, we transcribed their interview, and then we analyzed the data to come up with top themes, repeated themes in their discussion. And then we came up with survey data and circulated the survey to the broader community to get the feedback on these repeated themes. Now, some stats on the survey and the survey participants. We had total of 27 questions on that survey. The survey was open from December 12th to January 12th, and we had a total of 367 responses, of which 252 was completed. So approximately 69% of completion rate, which was encouraging. And also after cleaning the data, we found a total 237 data points, which is the number that we are going to base our results on. So 237 participants, and they were all from 47 different universities or institutions in Bangladesh. Now, just to give you a demographic idea of the survey participants, 87% identified themselves as male, 9% as female, 70% of them, of these 237 participants, had bachelor's degree, 23% had post bachelor's, master's, and PhD degrees. 31% had less than 2 years of experience, 28% had 2 to 5 years experience, and we had a good number of 5 to 10 years experienced practitioners in this survey. Job-based or gender-based job roles, we found that 60% of the males reported themselves as developers, 13% as other, or 6% as QA. But on the other hand, females tend to be more on other and QA roles than men in development. Also, we didn't find any female who declared themselves as software architect and business analyst or something like that. So that was something interesting to look at. Also, our survey participants were graduated mainly from 2008 onwards. Now, about the results. When we asked our participants that do they think their undergraduate studies help them in their work, and if the syllabus was sufficient, on the left you see that they reported 12% said none at all, and 53% said their undergraduate studies helped a little bit. And on the other hand, undergraduate studies, 40 undergraduate syllabus, 47% thought it should be a major or total change. 40% thought there are minor changes needed. So overall, 87%, which is a big number, 87% thought there should be some kind of changes in the syllabus. Now, when we asked our participants what they thought about different aspects of the undergraduate projects they did, here is what they reported. So you see the red ones totally disagree and the green one represents strongly agree. So when we asked if they thought their projects were evaluated properly, there was a mix of emotions and responses. But the main thing that we found is that when asked if they use any backtracking system or if they use any software testing, proper software testing, more than 50% said they totally disagree of using any kind of backtracking system or proper software testing. And similarly, project management testing or project management tools were also missing from these undergraduate projects. The only thing they reported a little bit of 20% of agreement was they used proper requirement analysis and some development tools. Now, once they graduated, we were curious to know how much effort did they had to put to be productive, and if they had any onboard training after they joined a company. So on the left, you see efforts to be productive. 22% reported that they had a smooth transition. Otherwise, 32% said they had some challenges, and 45% said they had a great deal of work to do to be productive. On the other hand, if they had any formal training when they joined a company, 56% said yes, some sort of training was there. 15% did not want to comment, but there were 29% who said there was no formal training after they joined a company. So, good news, gender equality base, when we asked if they think that there were gender equality in hiring, both female and male seem to be saying that in Bangladesh there is a good balance of gender equality at hiring. So that was encouraging to us. Now, when we asked about the improvement suggestions they had from a Bangladeshi perspective, so here's what they said, and we think that this is generic. This is generic in a sense that it can be applicable to other countries as well. So one thing they reported that they think in undergraduate studies, academicians and educators should emphasize more on tools over theory. They should emphasize on testing and code quality. They should give real life projects, not toy projects, and have better evaluation criteria. One thing that came up repeatedly that these practitioners think that internship is something that is very helpful and it should be a part of degree requirement. And good news is some of the universities in Bangladesh are now introducing internship as a degree requirement in their curricula. They think that more academia and industry collaboration, discussion, talk should be happening. They emphasized on solving coding problems and programming contests. They thought that was something they found very helpful. Early career and counseling, advising services. So students are confused and then are not sure which role they should be pursuing. So educators should help them decide and focus their attention to a specific interest. And they also suggested that there should be a flexible curricula with specialized and elective courses that meets their individual interest, and more online resources, massive online, open online courses or MOOC should be more utilized by the current students. Now, why is this happening? We think Bangladeshi computer science students migrate to other countries for job and higher education purposes, and academia is modeled to feed that need. And often migrating to other countries with a work visa is hard, so students focus on getting higher education in these other countries. So they focus more on getting good grades, theory over tools and technologies. On the other hand, faculties in Bangladeshi higher education institutions are often the best students in their class without much industry experience. Likewise, industry personnel with a lot of experience, they don't teach at academia and they are not in good collaboration with educators and academia. As a result, there is a less conversation going on, and to overcome this situation, we think there is a holistic social approach that is needed that considers economic, cultural, and historical context. And media and the government should highlight more on local successes to attract students in local job market. One interesting comment that came up is academia should teach their students how to learn themselves. So academia cannot teach every tool, methodology, and technologies to their students, but students, if skilled with self-learning, then they should be able to adapt fairly easily to the industry needs. Finally, these are my references to the slides and talk, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have. Thank you very much.